What's going on, guys? Black Scout Survival. And you remember Dick Durbin? He's the guy that wants to get illegal immigrants to join the military, right? Basically to take over the country. And so the other day he was asked by a reporter about Epstein. I want you to listen to this guy.
Jeffrey Epstein's flight logs.
So who are you?
Hillary Vaughn with Fox.
With Fox, of course. I don't know anything about his flight logs.
But why won't you subpoena them? Why don't you want to know?
I don't know the issue. I know who Epstein was, but I certainly don't know anything about.
I know who Epstein was, but I don't know about the issue. Come on, dude. Everybody knows it.
The issue.
Well, he was charged with sex trafficking, so why don't you want to know who was utilizing his private plane?
Never
Probably because he was freaking on the plane, right?
been raised by anyone.
Senator Blackburn has wanted to subpoena them, and there hasn't been a vote in your committee.
Said a word to me, not a word.
But aren't you curious, like, what high-profile or powerful people might be closeted predators and pedophiles? Doesn't that concern you?
Of course.
So why won't you subpoena them if you can?
It's the first time anyone has raised it. Thank you, Father.
Subpoena.
The first time anybody's raised the question, come on, dude. Probably because he was involved with it or his buddies were. You know, the thing is leftists are the only ones trying to cover this junk up, right? It's incredible. Like trying to indict Trump all the time, going after other conservative folks, going after January 6th people. We're not worried about who was freaking messing with kids. You know, I mean, it's incredible. So I want to switch gears just for a moment. This is a random story, but maybe good, especially for the guys from the survival realm that's been following me a very long time. This guy right here accidentally fatally stabs himself with a neck knife, right? So he had a knife like around his neck, and this was in Massachusetts. He was walking out of a restaurant and apparently accidentally fell and stabbed himself and died. So yeah, I've never been a neck knife guy, but you know, maybe I would really reconsider if you are one, you know, hearing that, you know, I don't know what kind of knife he had, if it probably had a crappy sheath, who knows, but regardless, don't take any chances. Right. So let's talk about some big news tonight. We got two pieces, pretty large stories here. So the Taiwanese authorities apparently have intercepted alleged plot by Chinese spies to recruit a Taiwanese Army helicopter pilot for defection. The pilot, who has only been identified as Say, was reportedly offered $15 million to defect to China. You know, $15 million can freaking buy a lot of people to do a lot of things, right? So he's accused of planning to land a CH-46, a Chinook helicopter onto the People's Liberation Army Navy warship near the Taiwan Strait. So this spy group, this Chinese spy group, allegedly led by a retired military officer, a senior PLA general, and a military region commander, orchestrated this plan. They promised Say assistance for his family in attaining Thai elite visas and financial security in case of conflict in the Taiwan Strait. He was instructed to fly the helicopter light low along the coastline to meet the PLAAF aircraft conducting exercises near Taiwan. Apparently, he considered the offer, but then deemed it was too high risk to actually carry through with it. But he was also attempting to request information about the location of PLA exercises and to consider an alternative route to avoid an interception by Taiwanese jets. So he was literally thinking about doing this, which is wild. You know, I mean, 15 million though, man. I mean, what Dana White sold out to Bud Light for a million, or I can't remember what it was. Maybe it was 100 million, whatever. You know, so anybody can be bought, but you know, it's yeah, one of those things. I mean, for them to get that guy, how many people they have on payroll within the, you know, U.S. military intelligence community, maybe high-ranking officers, Joe Biden, you know, how many people are on payroll with China and how much they already know. So kind of going along with that, Chinese hackers apparently have penetrated 24 or more critical infrastructure systems in the U.S. So top officials warned that China's attempting to preposition themselves to destroy critical infrastructure in the event of a conflict with the United States. And could that also be those soldiers that we saw lined up that I've been showing the video? I'm not going to show it today because I've been showing it every day, but that's been lining up at the border, coming through Colombia, like the video I showed the other day. Could these operatives be assets as well? But so apparently over the past year, these Chinese military hackers have penetrated computer systems around 24 critical entities in the United States. And this report that was released to the Washington Post, they disclosed that various infrastructure sectors are part of the larger strategy to create a potential disruption in the event of conflict between the U.S. and China. In the Pacific region, talking about Taiwan, the hackers affiliated with China's PLA, People's Liberation Army, have focused on critical infrastructure, including water utility companies in Hawaii, a major part in the West Coast, and oil and gas pipelines. The hackers have tendency to breach Texas's independent power and a grid operator. So the thing is that they're able to penetrate these things, and what we'll be looking at with this is what they would be creating essentially as societal chaos within the U.S. Now, I think their strategy would be multi-layered. I think they would do multiple things. Maybe introduce a virus hacking. I talked about this virus, biological, and cyber. Right? I talked about this a few months ago. That would be a great way to start. Okay, we've already got massive division in the country, and a lot of that being through our adversaries, causing disruption online with social media and things like that. But this would, think about water supply, food supply shutting down, medical, all these different things shutting down. Like, how quickly would America decay, erode quickly? People already at each other's throats, right? Since the mainstream media junk from 2016 on, the rhetoric, the divisive rhetoric, trying to cause race wars and you name it. But if they start shutting down critical infrastructure, they're buying up food manufacturing. They shut down food manufacturing, can't get water. How long do you think it's before people are out in the streets killing each other, right? And so it's much less of an issue. At the same time, simultaneously, Joe Biden trying to disarm America. And and then the influx of Chinese military-age males at the southern border. What does that look like to you? This looks like a very multifaceted plot. And truly, if I was creating some type of battle plan, this would probably be exactly what I would do, because you'd be facing so many different problems at the same time, and you would be overwhelmed. Our economy's in shambles, and it would be very easy to weaken a country from within and then be able to destroy them on the battlefield. We can't get people to join the military due to obesity, due to just not wanting to serve. And they got rid of all the good patriotic Americans. They culled them. They're trying to get them back, obviously, with the hokey pokey ordeal. But the problem is that we don't have the same type of soldier. We don't have the same type of troop, because they're worried about social justice and gender ideology more so than combat and combat effectiveness or readiness. If you talk to any young soldiers, Marines, airmen, stuff like that, you'll know they're being heavily indoctrinated. And a lot of this is coming from officer ranks, people that have been college educated, and they're pouring this into young men and women, and this is the leadership. And so this is people that the troops look up to. These are their mentors, and, the staff NCOs, staff non-commissioned officers, will also usually, because of, once you get into staff NCO ranks, things get a little bit more political. So they're going to kiss the behind of the officers. The officers are kissing the behinds of the field grades as well as the general officers. And you got people like, that Millie, that a general and stuff like that, that same type of mindset, and really just complete decay, complete destruction of the country, And then just kind of touching back on the illegal immigration problem, we have people coming from 170 different countries around the world. And we've been talking about this problem nonstop, right? The Chinese operatives, but we've got people coming from everywhere. And just this week, we had an illegal alien arrested right here after killing a high school cheerleader. She was found dead in her bathtub. This is Edna, Texas. A legal immigrant was apprehended in connection with the death of a 16-year-old cheerleader in Jackson County, Texas. His name is Rafael Romero. He's now in custody, but he's facing charges of capital murder. But the thing is those charges don't bring this young lady back to life. And it's unfortunate. This is coming to your town. You know, we've got so many migrants. It's part of the strategy, though, and don't think it's not. It's part of the Cloward-Peven strategy, and I'm going to talk about this at a later date. But basically, you put stress on your system, you know, to destroy a country. And they do so by illegal immigration. And this is not just happening in America. This is happening in countries around the world. And you've seen this. You've seen countries destabilized because of this. You've seen people getting attacked in the streets, women being raped, children being raped and killed. And people just turn a blind eye because, you know, for what? Social justice. Oh, don't want to be a racist, right? And they link up these things with this Marxist terms and ideology to make you say, well, I can't really say nothing about it because I'm going to be a racist. It's not about race. It's about protecting your country, protecting its citizens. This is what they're sworn to uphold the Constitution and protect the citizens and this country. However, they're going against that. And yeah, they've got to be held accountable. You know, people are being taught to hate this country, right? They're being taught that in schools. They're being taught that everywhere. And this is to destroy the fabric of what binds us, right? You remember after 9/11, the country came together. You got, you know, Bo Jackson running around the field with an American flag, you know, and people were just patriotic. Well, those days are completely gone. You know, they're being indoctrinated in schools, and then their heroes, the icons, are out there disrespecting America. People like LeBron James. This is actually LeBron James walking out during the national anthem, problem, and then sits down at his son's game at USC. Check this out. What so proudly we had the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fire. I wish I could get like 5 minutes in a room with that cat. I do. But, you know, you have these folks, these icons, and they're disrespecting our country. It's almost cool to be disrespectful to the country. And, you know, where does that lead us to? Total destruction of the country, right? Open borders, hacking our infrastructure. I mean, you name it. It's falling apart. The American dream, the system, you know, the experiment is over. It's just a matter of time now. But I wanted to share these things because obviously, you know, mainstream media is not going to talk about it. You're not going to hear about it. And it's a bad day. Now, I do want to cover something. I do have a new flashlight design out. Now, you know, the thing is I always try to, you know, I used to, when I first started Black Scout, I used to sell a lot of very high-end equipment, and it's just not, you know, a lot of people can't afford it, especially with this inflation. So years ago, I developed alternative, and you can buy whatever you want. I'm not going to be mad if you want to buy a more expensive flashlight, but for those folks that can't afford, or if you want to support us, whatever you want to do, I developed a weapon light years ago. I've developed a few. Now this is my next generation. This is a rifle light. It's got a pigtated rail adapter. It's got a pressure pad, and this is the Ratel. Ratel means honey badger, if you didn't know. Honey badger don't quit, boy. So it's got two modes: single press for constant on, and then holding it is momentary. I use momentary, and I designed it this way because a momentary, when you're clearing a room or something, you don't want to have constant flashlight on because bad guy goes bang, bang at the light. And if you don't know how to use a flashlight in a scenario like that, go check out blackscoutfilms.com, blackscoutfilms.com. Get our Watchman film, $10, and you can learn how to employ a flashlight in low light conditions. A lot of people, I'm a proponent of night vision, but if I'm in my home, I'm going to grab a white light. Not putting on nods. I'm going to move quickly, fast, and use the white light. Okay, and use a light if you don't know, because you see guys, I don't use a light but you got to identify friend or foe. Okay, you don't want to shoot little Timmy that just got up out of bed to go get some milk. You want to know friend or foe. So momentary on, and don't keep the light on and off, moving on and off. And obviously it can disrupt bad guy as well. But some of the features here, 1635 lumens, 316 meter beam distance, max runtime, 122 minutes. It's rechargeable. So you get a recharger, and we put the recharger on the bottom up so you don't have to remove it from the weapon. In Candela, 25,000 Candela, impact resistant IPX8, so waterproof and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, you get recharging cord, you get the pressure pad and all that sort of stuff. And this is like $55, guys. I'm gonna put the link below. Definitely grab one up. And whenever I talk to people just getting into preparedness, and with your rifle, the first thing you want to get is a flashlight over optic. You can shoot with iron sights. You can shoot very well with iron sights. Flashlight, though, because you need to be able to identify friend or foe, right? Don't walk around with a light on. Never use, noise and light discipline. This applies to using weapon mounted light or a handheld flashlight, on and off, on and off, on and off, right? And in that film, Black Scout films, I talk about using handheld with a pistol, also rifle, all those sort of things. So you can get that type of training in conjunction with the light, and be ready to rock and roll. But again, a flashlight to me is one of the most important things. That's why I focus so much energy on the flashlight development, because handheld with a tactical bezel, hand-to-hand fighting, self-defense, things like that, because you may not always be able to have a gun, airplanes and such. Hence why the bezel is removable, so you can carry it pretty much everywhere. And then the weapon mounted lights, because I wanted to offer a trustworthy, durable, affordable option, right? Because you can go spend a couple $100 and get one from one of these other guys, which is fine. Spend your money how you want. But I also wanted the regular common man, the guy who's working 12 hours a day to try to feed his family, to be able to be prepared as well. And, you can judge me all you want. I don't care. But I'm looking out for those guys, right? Those hardworking Americans that it's hard to live today. It's hard to live. And I understand that, But if you want me to make a $600 flashlight, I will. Just let me know. Anyhow, guys, if you're listening to this, you're part of the resistance. Remember to stay frosty, stay strapped, and always stay dangerous. Take care.